Good morning. It's June 29th on a Wednesday morning. Good morning. It's
9 a.m.
June 29th. And I've got a confirmation that audio is coming through on the live stream. Back onto the subject of Task Manager. This is Windows Daily number 6, Task Manager number 4. I'm going to come over here to my monitor number 3. Where I make a little arrangement there, punch it. I get the right one? Yes, I did. So here I have Task Manager open. I also have Disk Detective open in the background. And I'm just going to use Disk Detective to show some things about what you can do with Task Manager. Minimizing Task Manager, I'm going to point out that I've got 4 instances of Disk Detective open. And then wait a minute, there's a 5th one here. So I'm going to deal with that. On Disk Detective, I didn't mention the last couple of days that if you want to scan a different drive, you have to close the program, reopen it. That's where you get to choose what drive you want to do. So here I have my M drive. Here I have my L drive. Here I have my F drive and then my C drive. So I've got all 4 of those open right now. And this 5th one, when I was preparing for this one got locked up to where I couldn't drag it or move it around anywhere. I couldn't close it. I couldn't do anything with it. So this is an opportunity to show something in Task Manager. I'll bring Task Manager back up with Control-Shift-Escape. And here I see Disk Detective open 4 times that I'm seeing there. And actually, I didn't count that. I would expect, oh, there is 5. All right, I was seeing that wrong on my screen. So you can expand each of these, open them up. If I click on one of them, I could end that task. But which one of them is this one right here? Well, I can right click and choose switch to, and that'll take me to the one that instance represents. So that was the second one. Here's the first one, the second one, the third one, the 4th one. So that's not the one that I want to close. So let's try this one, switch to, and that's not it. That's this one down here. So I'll right click on this one and switch to isn't available here, right? Well, I have to expand that item and then right click on here. Switch to, and that's the one that I want to get rid of. Earlier today, that was locked up. It was frozen. I couldn't do anything with it. So to close it, I'll right click on it and in that task, and we should see that one disappear. And it says waiting for, oh, that one's having a little bit of trouble apparently. Now let me try right click up here and in task at that level. There it goes away finally. So I opened this video today with, I skipped the Microsoft Word follow-ups from yesterday. I'm going to go back to that now after that brief excursion into today's topic. So I'm coming over here to my notes. These green notes are chat and comments and emails that I've already dealt with. So I'm coming down here to the interactions from yesterday's session, Windows Daily number 5, Disk Detective number 2. From the chat, Gary Weisenberger says, why is Disk Detective saying that you have 394.556 megabyte free? Not much. Well, that is not a decimal point at that point. It was a comma. Maybe Gary mistyped it there. So it was actually 394 gigabytes free. Now, out of a 1 terabyte drive, you might say that's a reasonable amount. However, Gary knows that I have an 8 terabyte NVMe in the Big Beast build. So 394 gigabytes out of 8 terabyte, that sounds like not much. But the response to that is that my C drive is only 1 terabyte. I have that 8 terabyte NVMe partitioned into a C drive and an L drive and an F drive, I think the letters are. And I wanted my boot drive, my operating system, to just be 1 terabyte. Now, one of my video programs stores files there, so it kind of eats up the space and I have to move it. If I want to reconfigure that video program so that it stores on one of the other drives. I just haven't got around to that. So the 394 gigabytes of 1 terabyte is actually 40% free, and that's fine. And then Gary responded to, I struggled a little bit the other day for finding the app data folder, and he points out that it's under the users folder, and yes it is, and I'm aware of that. And what it does, I just farted on it then But app data under the users folder keeps track of data for specific applications for a particular user. Now that takes care of all of these items. So I'm going to turn them green, like a green check mark. I'll come up here to the home and then click on my green font. So now come back to this screen here. So I've got those disk detectives open. So I'll show right away that the M drive, I don't have much on it, only 2 megabytes of files on it. The L drive is just showing my amount of space. I'm not going to read through those because that's not the subject of today's session. So let's come back to Task Manager. I want to show some other things here. So I expanded these two in order to get to them. Well, up here on the view menu, you can collapse all and expand all. So there are times when I'm trying to troubleshoot something and I may want to expand all of them. So it expands everything in this list. Then let's go back and collapse those. And I tinkered around with this minimize on use because that is a feature that I use. And once I have a computer set the way I want it, I never utilize it again. So I kind of forget what it's about. But right now, we don't have the check mark for minimize on, hide when minimize is the one I care about. Hide when minimize is not selected. So when I click the minimize button here, down here on the taskbar, we can see that little line underneath that item indicating that it's actually opened. And if I used Alt-Tab, that shows up on my monitor number 1, I can see it in my list of open applications. It's the second one on the top row right there. Now, if I change that, and say hide when minimized, what happens? So I'll hit the minimize button. Down here at the bottom, it disappears from the taskbar. If I go over to my monitor number 1, I see that it is down here in the notification area. I'm going to turn off my picture-in-picture because I should be able to see numbers pop up there. Oh, I got to move my mouse over to that monitor. There it is. When I float the mouse over it, I can see what's going on with the statistics. So it's actually still open, still in use, even though it doesn't show on the taskbar. And if I do Alt-Tab, it does not appear here as an open application. If I double click on it, it'll come back open to the monitor that I had it open on. And because it was open all that time, when I go to the Performance tab, I can see some history. So here's the valuable thing of knowing about this is if you open Task Manager and have it hid when minimized, or you can just have it not hid when minimized, but as long as you keep it open, if your computer stumbles or starts getting sluggish or something, if you have Task Manager open, you can come up here and look at what's been going on in the recent history and perhaps find the solution to what you've been trying to deal with. Then this minimize on use, I've never found a reason for that. The always on top, I've never seen a reason to use. The default tab, perhaps, maybe you want it to always open onto the Performance tab, which is what I'm displaying right now. Maybe you want it to always open on to something else. Depends on what you're trying to troubleshoot at the time. The app history, we took a little look at that, and that shows the history of your applications over a longer period of time. And then the Startup tab we talked about briefly, where you can right-click and disable items. I want to come back here to the Processes tab and show some things. Most commonly when I'm trying to troubleshoot a problem with the computer, I might find something in here and think, what is that? Well, how do you find out what that is? Well, Google is your friend. You go Google search it, right? But there's a little tool here. If you go right-click on these items, here is a search online. Now, it's available when I right-click on the parent, but if I right-click on this one, I don't get search online. So I'll right-click here, click on search online, and that's coming up on my monitor number 1, and it automatically performs a search. Now, of course, it's using Bing because Microsoft kind of takes control of that, right? Then if I come back, how about something else? Down in these background processes, they're the ones that are more obscure and likely aren't going to know what it is. So let's come down here, AAC Kingston. I have no idea what that is. All right, click on it. And then, let's see, I got to get, oh, I lost, oh, gee, I totally messed up my display there. All right, let's fix this. Live broadcast and all. Okay, so again, right click on there and choose search online. I'm gonna have to go back and find out how long did I have that messed up. So here's what it searched for, and it gives me information. Now it does a really good specific search when you use Task Manager for performing that search. Then come back and look for another one. Scroll down, there's Adobe CEF Helper. Search that online and come back to my monitor number 1. Gives me a really good search for that. Then the next thing that I want to show here today, did I cover everything I want there? I think so. I'm going to take a look at one more thing here before I jump over to Windows 11. Oh, no, let's look at these other things. Go to Details. This will take you to the Details tab. Here's the Detail tab up here. So watch when I click on that. It's going to go to that item in the Details tab. When I right-click in there, I can, in that process, I can set priority. I have done this on sometimes when I have a program that's glitching or running into troubles. I'll set a real-time priority for it so that it takes higher priority for the processor. There's a bunch of other things here that I have not worked with, but then here's a search online for things on this Details tab, and that's kind of grayed out, indicating to me, is it going to, yeah, it did. It did search that. I'm not certain if that was grayed out or if that was just a problem with XSplit showing me that in a good way. Coming back to the Processes tab, I've got my mouse on the wrong monitor when I click. That's what's going on. What else is in these right clicks? Did I cover everything there? Oh, open file location. So that gets you to the actual file that's responsible for this. So I'll click on open file location. That came up on my monitor 1. It actually takes me to the file that is responsible for launching that. Then, did I cover everything on the right-click menu that I wanted to do? Search properties. You get information about that particular item, and you can even do compatibility mode if you want. If you're trying to troubleshoot an issue. Now, let's come over to Windows 11 because I have Windows 11 on Baby Beast and see what Task Manager looks like. It works, it looks and feels and operates the same. There I go again, moving my mouse on the wrong computer. I have to pick up the mouse for Baby Beast. So everything here works the same on the options menu. Those are the same options we've seen before. The view menu is the same. And there's an update speed that I always leave it on normal. I don't need it to update less. If you were to update it less frequently, that would cause the Task Manager to be using less of the CPU time, less of the system resources. Right click on all these items, it's all the same. Okay, so no difference, no apparent difference between Windows 10 and Windows 11 that I have noticed. Okay, so that covers Windows 11. I think that about does it for today's video. Let's come back here to this tab, and I'm going to go see if there's been any activity in chat. Get the right mouse again. And no, it looks like no activity in chat today. Oh, wait a minute. Now I got to restore chat here. There it is. Yes, it is there. So I'm not all alone this morning. Here I'll bring up chat, pop out chat. I'm not going to respond for all the people who says maybe good morning, Doug, and so forth. Thank you for the good morning. Thank you for the hi, how are yous? And it looks like there's no questions in there regarding this subject, so that's going to mean tomorrow's answering questions issue is going to be a topic. Although I just saw Kenny Whitten asking, I wonder if Windows 11 is still blue screening on your computer. I upgraded Baby Beast last Saturday to Windows 11. It has blue screened on me once. Now, I don't know. I'm not blaming that on Windows 11. It could have been something else. It's the first time Baby Beast has ever blue screened on me. Just because it happened a couple days after upgrading to Windows 11, that doesn't mean Windows 11 is at fault or the cause of it. So answer to that is no, there hasn't been another one. Bringing up my email address here, DougBetts@LiveWindowsTraining.com. If you want to send me a question on a problem that you're having or some computer topic, I will deal with it in a near subsequent Windows Daily episode. You can also put comments on the video, and I'll respond to those in the Windows Daily comments also. If you have an issue that you'd like me to connect remotely to your computer, I prefer to do that on Saturdays during Saturday's live stream. Although I may arrange to do it another time with you where I can connect remotely and we can work on a problem together, and I don't charge you anything for that tech support as long as it is creating interesting content on my channel. There we go. That's it for today's session. I hope that was useful. Have a great day. Catch you later. Goodbye.